Hi. Okay, a little bit of an interesting one today. Now, I saw one of the videos that was done recently by someone addressing the issue of whether it was worth building a specific older kit. And the particular kit that they were addressing was quite a nice 148th, and I thought it was really, really obvious that that would be worth building. But the point that they were making was there was a newer kit coming out. So I sort of got me thinking about some of the kits that are far below that level of that 148th, which I thought was very, very worthwhile building. I want to drop the bar way down and find out why they might be worth building or not. So, got a whole bunch that I've packed out here. Now, somebody asked me, do I build Matchbox? Yes, I built a lot of Matchbox. At a stage, I passed on a number of my Matchbox to a friend who was collecting Matchbox. So I don't have a whole lot left. I've got way more Airfix at the moment than Matchbox, but I still love them. I built this one a while back, and I really, really enjoyed it. By model quality standards, it's average. I mean, it's old, but I enjoyed the build, and can I fault it? Yeah, I can fault it, but I really enjoyed the build. And they look, often with these old Airfix and Matchbox, they sort of almost tend to fall into the nostalgic builds category. I didn't build this one when I was a kid. I did see it. I had not yet really latched onto the Helldiver like I have now. Now I really like the Helldiver. So let's start with this one then. Is this worth building? Well, this particular one might be worth building, and I haven't investigated what alternatives there might be. But okay, so from the nostalgic point of view, yes, it would be worth it. I didn't build this one either when I was young, and in fact, I still haven't built one. I've started one, got a little bit into it. It's an interesting and odd topic, so I'd say it's worth it just because it's slightly odd. Let me do, where's that one? Here it is. Okay, so I'll just take that box top and this one. Given the choice of these, is it worth building it? Well, now if I was in the shop and I saw that box art in amongst stuff that looked good like this old Roy Cross box art, this is not inspiring at all. I mean, this is of the worst box art that's ever been done. So it wasn't going to grab me. Is it worth doing? Yes, I have built this, by the way. It is, but it's borderline. So if it was in that box, I probably would have never grabbed it as a kid. If it was in this box, I might have, except Spitfires and Mustangs were always far more attractive than Hurricanes. I did build a Hurricane in the 80s, actually. It was the Matchbox one, so that would have just been per chance. But is this worth building? Well, actually it is, but not if you're going to want to build a good quality Hurricane. So we've got this division line between, did you want a very well presented kit, in which case this is not worth building. But if that isn't the reason, if it's a nostalgic build, if it's a little bit of challenge for you, like remember I mentioned I did that Bolt and Pull Defiant. Now this is a way better kit than the Bolt and Pull Defiant. But if you're just trying to challenge yourself to to do an old Airfix kit and do it nicely, which of course I'm doing all the time. So I don't even think about it, but yes, it is worth doing. Actually, I lie. This could possibly be even worse box art than the other one. Seeing that model is not inspiring. I've never built an Anson. I've still never built one. I've got a couple, and I plan on doing this. So my answer to why would this be worth doing is because I then want to, and I don't even want to use the word challenge because I know I can build it. The point is I just want to see what I could make of this old Airfix Anson. Can I make something that's mildly acceptable? This one might be an easier one than this one. And this one I did build as a kid, and I did not. I was not successful. I messed it up. This is a difficult build. It's difficult because of canopies. It's difficult because of stuff that has to go into the fuselage. You've got a open front. You've got very, very thin surfaces. I remember those tail surfaces. Horizontal stabs are very, very thin. You have got turrets. And I remember those Airfix turrets on everything, bombers and everything, was quite tricky to get in, actually, to get them rotating and all this. So I failed as a kid. I built this recently. That canopy still got me because it was a bit warped, so I still couldn't put it on. So I've got another one to do. But is it worth me doing this? For nostalgic and for challenge purposes. But for good presentation purposes, no, not really. Now this represents a category of model that I just completely ignored as a kid. I was always taking World War II stuff. And although I saw all of these, I grabbed very, very few of these sort of post-war and early jets. And I'm now taking them and I'm putting a few together here and there. And the goal is not to present a better quality than the good kits that you get. It's just to have built it in this box art color scheme, done a nice presentation, sometimes put it on the stand or not. So that's not a challenge to put it together. This one I don't think is difficult at all. This is just, is it worth it? Yes, because it looks nice in that box art. But why would I choose the Airfix one rather than any other better quality kit? Well, I suppose because I have it. I don't tend to collect tons of the more modern small kits. That's actually a point I hadn't thought of. A lot of the more modern kits are not in small boxes, and these small Airfix and Matchbox kits were actually quite handy in their small boxes. You know, that's the more sort of average modern size. I did have mortar stage. For some reason, I've always loved this aircraft. And I have built one. I built the Matchbox one back in the 70s. I can't really remember. It was new to put windows into the fuselage before you're gluing those pieces together. I think I made it okay, except maybe the undercarriage and things like that. But I really do want to do the Airfix one. And again, I like that box art very much. Is it worth doing? Yes. So what here is not worth doing? Well, nothing yet. So far, they're all worth doing. This one is exceptionally worth doing because it is just such a beautiful aircraft. So very simple, better than Airfix quality. Not average decals. Actually, they're probably quite passable. I hope they're not going to disintegrate or anything. But I mean, a really, really simple kit. But I'm glad I have that little one. So what am I going to say is not worth doing? Maybe this. And remember the Airfix birds. See, now this one I started. I think I did show this in another video, and I don't intend to throw this away. I'll build this just because it is one of the weirdest old Airfix kits that you can get. Anne Boleyn or Boleyn. But is it worth it as a model? Look at those joints there under the arm. They were like of the worst fitting models. I'm impressed that I think I put a lot of work into just getting that, but it took it out of me. It's got the little base there. Would I recommend these to someone? Not really, no. The birds, I think I tried a bird and I didn't make it. I can't remember what other weird oddities they have. I don't even know what the date is on this kit. This is really old stuff. I don't know if there is a date on here. But I mean, I guess, you know, from the historic perspective, you know, people that grabbed that kit, at least they learned a little bit of history reading up the instructions on this one. But that would be of the worst stuff that I have. Is this worth building? Well, that falls into that vac form category of you got to really motivate yourself and want to struggle through something like that. So this is going to be one of those kits that probably hangs around for ages and ages, and I don't actually build it. So I recently saw a lightning in somebody's desk, and I never had this one either when I was young. In fact, I didn't really like the lightning that much. But this box art is very nice, and I am going to do this one. I've only built one lightning ever. So I will build this. And I was struggling to find, apart from, you know, the terrible quality kits like that helicopter that I showed you, which is molded on really awful sprue and all that. So in all my stuff, I've got older kits than these. Some monogram kits that go back to 60s and 70s. Oh, you remember that Republic CB, that clear fuselage and very few parts model. I mean, that is exceptionally simple. Is it worth building? Well, I don't know if there's another kit. Maybe there is another kit, but it's worth building just because it's a Republic CB. And it'll look very nice on the shelf. It is a challenge to build it nicely. Do you need that much challenge? Does a modeler need that much challenge to build these things? Maybe for the older modelers where, you know, that's just what was available, so that's what you got used to, and now with modern day you're presented with so many good kits, but it doesn't mean that you really turn the old kits down. They were just what was present at that time, and it's okay if you can still build them. You know, I've got a Wright Flyer monogram, which I think falls just about into the same category as that Antoinette monoplane, which I showed in one video. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think it's 60s. I'm pondering whether it may even be older than that. I think it's one of the oldest boxes that I've got. So I might have to say this is possibly the worst kit that I have. Not by the worst manufacturer, but they were just really the fit, and everything is just not a non-straight line except for that little sundial base in here. But I take my hat off to people that built those as kids. I like to build the older kits because they're simpler. You get a kit through the works. You can put something on the display shelf sooner, but it's not as high quality. And this is what I was addressing in the perfectionism video. I built the Revell 1/32 Tomcat. I got that at a good price. I dived in and built it. No questions asked. Came out pretty well. I don't have it anymore, unfortunately. Its size was its own downfall. I just couldn't transport it and package it as well as I could all the other kits. Couldn't fit in any cabinet or anything, and sadly it got broken and destroyed. But in the same, well, not in the same time, all in all, in my modeling career, I've had 3 of the 1/32 Tamiya Tomcats, and I haven't built any of them. Got it, held on to it for a while, passed it on. And we have this tendency to do kits which you're not going to be too hard on yourself by doing a quicker build, not being perfectionistic, and there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, a lot of the kits lend towards being done well, and some of the Revell kits are the thing that I like about them is their structure is such that they don't have a breakdown of so many parts. You can get your main big pieces together and you've got an airframe faster. But the end result is I don't have a nice Tamiya Tomcat on my shelf. I could have just started with the Tamiya Tomcat. It would have been a longer build. We do hold off on those perfectionistic builds, and I tend to gravitate towards a lot of these easier builds. So another reason is, are they worth building? Well, yes, they are, because of the anti-perfectionism aspect of it. Now, does that mean I don't like being perfectionistic? No, I actually really like being perfectionistic. But I have many avenues of approaches. This one is a way better one than that one. So I would be starting off with this kit doing a way more not detailed, more skilled, more finely skilled work on this one. And on this one, I'd be doing faster work. I'd be happy to get it built, painted nicely, and get it onto the shelf. There was I was working on a series of Spitfires from a whole bunch of manufacturers, and the Revell one, and I don't know which Revell that was, but it is of the worst kits that I've ever made. So, it made me absolutely hate Revell for that. How could they release such an absolute... the fit was absolutely terrible. Is it worth building a kit like that? And I'd have to say is, there's that borderline where, and unfortunately you only know this afterwards, well, unless these days you watch videos and you get the reviews and people tell you how bad it is. But if you didn't know that, there is that borderline where I'm okay with you tried it. It was honestly not worth you going further, unless you just felt you don't want to let that kit beat you. But there are kits like that which they're not worth doing. I think I still have that one here somewhere, and I I can't remember all of the drama that I went through and how much I swore, whereas other equivalent and not high quality kits, just better handled, went together so easily. So if you have, put in the comments if you have examples of kits that actually were not worth the effort. And I don't mean because there's a better one. There's always going to be a better one of something, and the better one gives you a better result. But was it worth building something, or was there something that you just felt, no, that was just absolutely not good? Now, in relation to the perfectionist builds, I am trying to, and I think I did say this in another video, not delay the good quality builds anymore. At least not for the reason because you're scared to dive into it and do something wrong on an expensive kit. I am delaying them simply because I have far too many things on the workbench. And for instance, if I wanted to tackle that typhoon, I'd really have to set everything aside and get my mental energy focused on that kit, and not be diversified across 20 kits like I am at the moment. And that's sort of something that stops me from getting into some of the more impressive builds. I did mention that I've thinned out on a lot, but I've still got a number of big builds. I've still got 148 Hercules, one that's got some work on it, one that hasn't even been started yet. Quite a number of builds. Large Shackleton, the FX Shackleton, which is large. The P47, got some 1/6 scale bikes. I've got a few big things. But the Typhoon would be, actually no, I've got Trumpeter Spitfires 1/24 as well, which they don't have as many parts, but they're as good quality. So tell me about your builds. And post your pics on the page. We've had a couple of people join. Now it's just in the early stages, so if you arrive there and you don't see much activity, it's early stages on the Facebook page. Just go ahead and post things you're busy with. Post pictures of your workbench. I must update my workbench picture actually, although it's a huge mess at the moment. Okay, hope you enjoyed that. Happy modeling.